This video will show you how to create and link learning modules. As students read or see scenarios or problems, they are then presented with a first decision point, which usually consists of a question with options. If students are unsure as to how to answer this question or perform a calculation, they can click Just-in-Time, Concise Instruction. Before you go further, it is important to note that it is not possible to upload documents to the software at this time. However, it is possible to place links in the DBL software that point out to online instruction like those above. You can also upload YouTube videos or images that have the appropriate copyright permissions. Once you have that link, click the box where you would like to place your online instruction. Click Edit, click No Learning Module. You will see this box. Name your learning module, typically after your decision point, and paste your URL from the online presentation you created. Here is an example of a Google Doc presentation link we created. We will show you how to create a Google Slide presentation link later. You can also edit the learning module button text by typing different wording, like see here or more information here. Click Save. This will change the wording here from no learning module to the wording you selected for this text. This means that instruction is linked at this decision point. Pause the video and practice linking any online URL into the software. You can replace this link with actual instruction you create later if you'd like. We will now focus our attention on creating what we call decision point instruction. Decision point instruction is different than typical instruction. Neither is superior to the other. They're just different in terms of instructional purposes. The purpose of decision point instruction is first to help students learn the definitions of each option in a decision point. For example, in this example, we would provide students with a concise definition of descriptive statistics and also for inferential statistics. The second purpose is to provide an example or illustration of each option. Here is an example of a descriptive problem, and here is an example of an inferential problem. The third purpose is to show the connection between the abstract definition and the concrete example. We will show you an example of each of these elements. Let's return to this first decision point and read the question. Is the problem above descriptive or inferential? Let's click on How do I decide? Up comes a slide showing the options. First, provide a definition for each option. Here is a simple definition of the first option, descriptive. Second, provide an example for each definition. Here is an example of the definition for the option descriptive. Third, show the connection between the definition and an example. This includes highlighting relevant conditions or clues in the example and showing a connection to the condition in the example with how it relates to the definition. And finally, providing an explanation. Do the same thing with the next option, providing a definition, an example, and the connection between the example and the definition. Depending on the amount of information you've presented, it can be helpful to have a summary slide like this. You may optionally have them practice with other scenarios or problems. They read a problem and are shown the correct answer with an explanation. We then return to the original problem and select an appropriate option based on what was learned in the learning module. Here is another quick example. In this example, students will read a few lines of poetry and then determine if these lines represent figurative or literal language. Click the Just-in-Time, Just Enough instruction. Here are the definitions for each option, literal language and figurative language. Here are examples for each option. Here is an explanation connecting the example to the definition. Then practice problems. When students complete the instruction for this decision point, they return to the original poem and select the appropriate option. In summary, decision point instruction should have three elements. 1, define each option. 2, provide an example of each definition. 3, show a connection between the definition and the example. Optionally, they may have a summary slide and/or opportunities for practice. Finally, we will show you how to create a Google Slide link in presentation mode. Here is a completed Google Slide. To make it so when students see it in presentation mode, when they click the link like this, to create such a link, click File. Scroll down, select Publish to the Web, click here, select every minute so that the slides do not auto-advance so quickly. Select Start Slideshow as soon as the player loads. Click anywhere in this box and the entire URL will be highlighted. Copy using Control or Command-C. Finally, paste your URL into this box and save.